are going to be the best prepared person on your voyage, and I can promise you that. Semester at sea is complicated to pack for, and I cannot lie about that. Because if you don't bring something with you that you need like immediately, you can't just run to the store and get it because you're in the middle of the ocean and there's no land around you anyway. So you need to be prepared when you're packing, and I have some amazing tips in this video for you guys, and it's things that I am so glad that I brought with me for semester at sea. I've also made another video called Things I Wish I Had Brought With Me because even I was not the most prepared when I went on my voyage. So check out that video and let's get into these tips. So the first thing that you cannot live without on your voyage is a beach towel. Okay, so there is a pool deck on deck 9 of the ship, and also every port that you go to is obviously going to have beaches because you are on the ocean, so all the countries you get to are next to the water. And if you don't bring a beach towel, you can't bring the towel from your cabin off the ship with you, and you also cannot bring it up to the pool deck. So you are going to be stuck without a towel, just dripping wet every time you go swimming. So bring a towel, bring one that is big so you can lie on it at the beach, so it's big enough for your whole body, but also one that is pretty thin so that it packs up small so you can fit it in your backpack. Also, don't bring one that you care about that much, because I ended up just not bringing mine home with me because it was so caked with like salt and sand, and also sunscreen. So bring one that you don't care about that much in case you don't want to bring it home with you. The second thing that you absolutely need is a raincoat and an umbrella. And I would recommend a coat that will keep you warm if it's super windy or if it's colder than you expect. So I had one that was pretty long so that it kept more of my body warm when it was cold outside, and you are going to be so happy that you have both of these things. Because you never know when it's going to rain, and if you only have 4 days in a country, you want to make the most of all of those days and get off the ship and explore the city that you're in. The third thing that I'm super glad I brought was 4 to 5 pairs of workout clothes. Now, if you don't work out or if you don't plan to work out on the ship, then you don't really need to bring this, but I worked out basically every day we were on the ship, and if you're doing your laundry yourself like I did, which I can make a video on if you want, how to do your laundry in your cabin, you're totally gonna need more than just 2 or 3 pairs of workout clothes, because if you don't do your laundry every day, you're just gonna be stuck with like dirty clothes in your cabin, and you don't wanna wear the same ones that are already sweaty. So bring enough workout clothes, and these will also be helpful if you're going hiking in a country or doing an activity like ziplining. The fourth thing that I am so glad I had is called a scrubba, and it's really useful for doing your laundry in your cabin. So you put your clothes in the bottom of the bag, you fill it up with water and detergent, you roll it down, and you like shake it around for a few minutes, and then you dump it out, rinse them, hang them up in your shower, and then you're good to go. Your clothes are clean. This was a lifesaver. It was way better than washing things by hand in your sink. I would recommend this to everybody going on this trip. Also, along with your scrubba, you will want to bring your own detergent in a tiny little bottle, because you don't go through that much washing clothes yourself, but you definitely need some. And this is going to save you so much money because the ship charges you $7 to do your laundry for as much as you can fit in a bag that's like this big. So you can literally fit like 2 pairs of jeans and like 1 shirt in that bag for $7 when you can do it for yourself for way cheaper. The fifth thing that I am glad I had was 2 pairs of tennis shoes. So I had one that I wore mostly on the ship when I was working out or walking around, because you need closed-toed shoes for the ship. They don't really tell you this, but they do not want you wearing sandals, because when you're walking, the doors can close really fast and hurt your toes, so you need a lot of closed-toed shoes. Also, I ended up actually losing a pair of tennis shoes. I lost one shoe when I was paragliding. I got it back, and then I went bungee jumping and lost a shoe like forever. So I was so glad I had another pair of tennis shoes, because I would have been stuck without them for like the rest of the trip if I hadn't. It is also helpful to have 2 pairs of tennis shoes, because then you can have one be like your super messy tennis shoes that can get super dirty and like going through waterfalls or through the mud, and then your other one can be like your slightly nicer pair. And then this is number like 5.5, I guess, of things that I'm glad I brought with me, but that is just comfortable shoes in general. Not just tennis shoes, but comfortable shoes, because you do so much walking. So I can also make a video on the shoes I brought, the clothes I brought. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments down below. But just bring like your most comfortable shoes and you'll be so thankful. The sixth thing that I am so glad that I packed is an adapter block. So mine came in a little like pouch like this, right? And then it pushes out the different adapters that you need to plug into the walls for the country, and it has different plugins on the front also. Mine is by the brand Epica, but you can get any one of these off of Amazon. And mine has Europe, the UK, and then USA and Asia. And you need this for the countries you're going to, but also for the ship, because the outlets in your room are German outlets, which I didn't really know, but I was so glad that I had this. I recommend this to everybody going on this trip. Now, the seventh thing that I'm super glad I brought was hair accessories, because these can make an outfit that you're wearing look like a completely different outfit, which is really cool. So I had ones that were like scrunchies with like ties on them. I had regular scrunchies, which are great, just like regular hair bows, headbands, and then hair scarves. These are a great way to make your outfits different, but also to hide all your dirty and greasy hair if you're in the countries and you don't shower as often as you usually would. And also, it's a great way to keep hair out of your face when you're on your ship, because it can be windy on the decks. The eighth thing that I'm glad I brought with me was a tiny pair of sharp scissors. Now, they tell you on the packing list not to bring scissors with you, but mine were like very small. So, like the blade was like this small, not like the whole scissors, but like you can bring a very small pair of scissors because it helps you with opening things, and no one else will have one and they'll be asking to use yours. I also used my scissors to crop the t-shirt that I bought from the store for Sea Olympics, and that was so useful. The ninth thing that I am so glad that I packed and brought with me was a good crossbody purse. You do not want a purse that's just over one shoulder because it can get stolen from you, and your purse needs to have zippers. It cannot just have a flap over or like a tiny little clasp, because I knew people who had their phones stolen because they didn't have a purse that zipped, and that is such a simple fix. So bring one that you can fit a lot in and that has zippers and that goes across your body, and those are like the best tips possible for purses. The 10th thing that I'm glad that I packed are Postit Notes, because on the ship, service for your phone is terrible, so no one can communicate with each other that well. But if you have Postit Notes, you can leave them on people's doors to tell them when to meet you for dinner, for lunch, and you can also just like leave notes for your friends all over, and that is a great way to communicate when you're on the ship, so pack your Postit Notes. The 11th thing that I'm so glad that I brought with me is 2 ways to get money. So I mean 2 credit cards or 2 debit cards, because if you're traveling a lot and one of your cards gets blocked because you're in different countries all the time, you are going to need another way to get money from ATMs. So be sure to have a backup card to use on the trip. The 12th thing that I'm glad I brought is a thermos, because you cannot just take the mugs out of the places where you're eating. Even though there's free coffee, you can't bring the mugs with you back to your room because they want you to have closed lids that seal. So bring your own thermos, and then you can bring tea and coffee with you around the ship and to your classes. Also, just a side note, if you want tea and coffee often, you should bring your own tea bags, because all that they offer for free is black tea. And also the coffee is kind of awful on the ship, so I knew people who even brought their own French presses or instant coffee for their rooms because they like coffee that much and they did not want to have to deal with the ship's coffee that is free but not that great. And the 13th thing that I'm glad I had are jeans without holes, because I didn't think that this would be a problem when I was packing initially, but a lot of the countries we went to have different rules or customs about modesty, so they do not want you walking around wearing jeans with holes in them. While this isn't like they wouldn't stop you and be like, you can't wear that, you might get looked at in a way that we do not want to be representing semester at sea in. So bring pants without holes so you can dress modestly and fit in with the cultures of the places that you're going to. Also be sure to bring modest shirts and blouses that are flowy and lightweight so you're always covered, and a scarf to cover your head just in case. And the 14th thing on my list are just a couple of apps that I'm so glad that I had downloaded already and have the things within the apps downloaded as well. So the first thing that I was so happy I had was the Kindle app on my phone with books to read, because I did not want to lug around super heavy books to like 12 different countries and pay for luggage for like the extra weight. So have a Kindle app on your phone and read books that way, and also have playlists downloaded on Spotify before you go, and a ton of podcasts, because there's no service in the ocean, so you cannot download them while you're on the ship. So download them before you go and you'll be so grateful. And also you need to have Venmo and PayPal on your phone and have an account, because I knew a friend who did not have Venmo, and we would pay for things for her, and we'd be like, how are you gonna pay us back? And she'd be like, I don't know, I don't have Venmo. And we'd be like, oh, okay, awesome. But people pay for each other all the time. I use Venmo literally every day I was in countries, and it is a great thing to have. So I hope that these tips helped you guys out. Let me know if you learned anything in the comments down below, and if you're excited for your voyage and what voyage you're gonna go on, and when it is, and what country you're most excited for. And thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to support my channel, it'd be amazing. And I'll see you guys next time.